This is Gina, PRN. Welcome to my channel. And this is where I talk about everything and anything pertaining to mental health care. And today in my video recording, well, before I go that, thank you if you're a new listener. If you're a returning listener, thank you as well. Thank you for supporting this work around mental health with some twists and focus on women issues in minority, how it affects us as minorities, as well as the general population, though. And there are specks of times here and there where I focus also on our male population. But today, again, my focus is going to be a little bit on women. Being that this channel focuses on mental health, self-improvement, and education on mental health issues, I feel prompted to talk about, I'm going to just kind of quickly go over the 5 pillars of women's health care. The 5 key pillars of women's health care or women's mental health to make us as wholesome human beings that, we have so much to kind of take care of. There's so much as women that we have going on all the times. We are called to wear many hats, being that we are professional women or stay-at-home women or whatever you find yourself doing, whether you're doing solely one or both, being a career woman or professional woman or a stay-at-home mom or both, it's tough. And being that sometimes we can also find ourselves being caregivers to aging parents, can also be hard if you have kids that you are having to juggle in addition to being a sandwich caregiver. How do we take care of ourselves so we can have the core and the strength to keep going? I want to urge every woman out there to not wait till there's a crisis before we start to self-care. Sometimes, unfortunately, it can be too late. When you wait till like a health issue start to pop out, like obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, things like that, not to mention depression, anxiety, insomnia comes along and it becomes chronic, and there's a whole lot that you have to do to try to overcome it. For me, I always preach in moderation. I always preach preventative. Life happens. Life doesn't promise us things is going to be smooth, easy peasy, cakey, ice cream, bake and shake. Life is hard, and sometimes it's hard. But what can you do in the midst of difficulties to keep yourself going, keep your life going, to keep the kids going? We have to overcome so many obstacles in our way of doing things in our everyday lives. So how do we do well? The 5 pillars that I'm going to focus on will be one, good sleep, stress management, doing some type of movement. Any type of movement is good movement. Practicing mindfulness, and good nutrition and diet. Those are the 5. Now going back, sleep. As women, especially, when we are working on our higher education, careers, that's the time also that we find ourselves, in our reproductive lives, right? In our maybe 20s, 30s, if not early 40s. And sometimes if you postpone having kids later, is going to have difficulties because we have a small window of time for women to get babies that we need to have out of the way. If you wait too long, and let's say you don't freeze your eggs or anything like that, when it comes time, and let's say you finally say you have the right partner, it's impossible because you might be out of good healthy eggs to do that birthing process in a smooth way. You might find yourself having to do maybe in vitro IUI, which is fine. But sometimes some of us, if we knew, maybe somehow we might have an easier time or not wait too long. But there are so many factors. Everybody's journey is different. But so really working on issues like sleep, getting some rest, in between everyday things that are happening, life is happening, finding time to get some good sleep, good rest, so you feel revived, rejuvenated. You have trouble sleeping, find ways to soothe yourself. That's a whole different podcast to talk about, self-caring before going to bed, through the day, how to get good rest, how to get good sleep, sleep hygiene overall. It's a whole topic. If you're there, let's say you have a lot of maybe weight issues, it might be worth it to talk to your primary care provider to maybe rule out sleep apnea. Sometimes sleep apnea, obesity, things like that can also impede on our sleep, especially if your gut system is really in the way of your sleep position. That can be another factor. So sleep is big. Some people say, "Oh, don't worry about sleep. Don't worry." No, you will burn out if you're not sleeping well. I've worked night shift myself years ago for a long time. I worked night shift for 10 years, and that's a killer too. So if you're hearing me and you work night shift, please take time to take care of yourself. Find ways to make your room dark so you can get some good rest. Get some, really good, bath, soothe yourself, things like that. Temperature, things, so many things to do. Secondly, stress management. Who doesn't have stress? Everybody has stress. As adults, as we do this thing called adulting, it's happening all around us, from our kids to work to our businesses to whatnot. Everyday stress, the people around us. So finding ways to manage stress is very important, and which bubbles over to being intentional about minimizing stress, putting boundaries around us to really keep stress low, so reactivity threshold is low. It's very important. So one of the ways to manage stress is, for me at least, movement. Any type of movement is good. I can say exercising, it's a whole beast in itself. So everybody, at least so long as you're doing some type of a movement, like let's say you have a job that requires you to sit a lot or drive a lot and you're sitting in one place a lot, really be mindful to stop every hour or so, getting some really good movement there. 5 minutes, 10 minutes is good enough. Good movement, 5-10 minutes a day, sometimes all you need, all you require. But saying you don't have time to add time, to make time for exercising, that I've come to the point where I know you can make the time, even if it means you waking up at 5 a.m. to get it done before the kids wake up. Then that's the way, because then you're putting yourself on the pedestal. You're putting yourself as priority. So that's part of self-care. That's part of stress management, is to kind of build into your calendar times for movement, stretching, just sitting there meditating some way first before movement too can be very important. Going for a walk, now that the weather is nice, it's sunny, beautiful weather, go on a walk, go on a run, go on a hike, take a friend. If you have a meeting, can you take that meeting on the road? You're on the video or on the call, but while you're listening, just go for a walk. That's the way to do it, either before kids wake up or build into your lunchtime, build into your meeting time, and make it happen. Because the more you don't put that on your calendar to make it a priority, the more trust me, it's not going to happen. Michelle Obama, by the way, wakes up at 5 a.m., if not 4 a.m. every day to make sure she gets her exercise in, because she knows how important it is to have movement as part of her general wellness and mental health. Then comes to mindfulness, as I mentioned, like meditating, journaling, praying, whatever time through the day. It doesn't have to be a specific time. You can do it within your morning routine. First thing you wake up, really important to do that though. Really taking some really good cleansing deep breath from your belly, from your gut. Counting out 4. So doing that 10 times before you even set foot on the ground. Praying before, after your deep breaths is really important. So just really intentionality of it, because the more you wake up, you wait for some of these practices to become part of you, the more it has to be part of you. To have a lasting, long life, some of this stuff has to be part of everyday routine. Now, diet, nutrition is also very important. That's a whole beast in itself too. Really making sure that your food is colorful, all the colors are there. Really being mindful about portion control. We can't deprive ourselves in having salad and fruit all the time. But if you're gonna have some stuff, like in my culture, we like rice and peas. We like just rice, all type of rice, different ways. We like things like fufu, kenke. We like things, but really portion controlling it, making sure that you're adding veggies to it, all the greens, all the colors, balancing it out. And if you're going to have carbs, making sure that, you're fistful, not going over that. And trying to drink like a glass of cold water before starting to eat has been shown in research to be very important in calming down your region of your brain that is associated with like satisfaction in eating, like the oral fixation thing that we can have one plate and then, as you have two plates and three plates of the same food, because especially the food is so good, you can be tempted to just go overboard. And especially some of us who maybe you're stay-at-home mom or you work from home type of thing, can be very tempting to always go to that fridge, because if you're stressed out, you associate that with snacking. Snacking is great. You can have snacks every 2 hours or so through your day, but really be mindful of what's going in is important. You are what you eat. So really be mindful of, snacking too much on sugars and salts, snacking too much in late hours can be tempting. So having water on your bedside can be important. Have a little fridge, maybe water. If you feel those cravings, really kind of just taking a couple of sips of the water can just kind of shut that drive or urge down, where you can just take some deep breaths right in those moments, mindfulness once again, and you fall asleep. The other thing is kind of doing like a detox every now and then. So meaning like you might take something or some type of like dates are really good, to have a bunch of dates. Trying to think of something else. I would do a video on that too. And sometimes, you might take maybe a laxative of some sort, a purgative to just purge your system, get like your guts cleansed out, get all that really toxic bacteria out. And if you go to the health food store, they have a lot of natural detox stuff that you can take just to get all the stuff sucked out of your system, to just cleanse and detox and stuff afresh, to reset, get your liver working better, your kidneys working better, your arteries clogged out. So detox is also another thing that I find to be very important and crucial. But that's not something you should be doing every day, every week, every month, even maybe once or twice a year. That's it, because it can be a problem too. So, on that note, I just wanted to kind of recap and talk about the 5 pillars of women's healthcare. Again, being that one should be on our priority: sleep, stress management, movement, any type of movement, mindfulness, meaning prayer, yoga, journaling, things like that. Just taking moments to just be present and being aware and being a radical acceptance of current situations, and trying to be in control, because you have plans and you have plan B, A, or C. It helps you cope better than not feeling like helpless, not knowing what to do next. Then it can get you all overwhelmed. And the last one is diet, nutrition, and detox. So making sure your diet is on point, being intentional about nutrition overall, because as your kids see you do it, they also copy. So then you're passing on that positive generational management of your life overall. Because when you see the kids see you centered and doing what you're supposed to do and being, at peace and eating well and exercising, all this stuff. So every day we wake up, there's like strategies and planning. It's just like running a business. You got to run your home like you're running a business, really kind of setting the tone every day to make things as smooth as possible for yourself first, and then for the other people around you. So that's my video today on talking about How do we self-care women's health? And in so doing, we can whip it in our minds. And if we whip in our minds, we can whip it in every aspect of our lives. So thank you again for catching me today on this video. I hope you like it. Leave me a comment, and we'll catch you at the next video. You have a great, blessed week.